yogis, welcome to Yoga Chats. I'm your host Greg Walsh of Temple Bar Yoga, and today we're unwrapping the gift of festive cheer in our special Christmas episode. We have a merry gathering of Temple Bar's luminous teachers, Hilary, Jeanette, Maria and Paul, all here to share the magic that unfolds when yoga meets Christmas. So grab yourself a cup of herbal tea, cozy up by the fire. Let's embark on a soulful journey through the Yuletide yoga vibes. This is Yoga Chats, where breath meets the festive spirit. So let that festive spirit flow. Ho, 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 yogis. Thank you so much for joining our festive Yoga Chats. And today I have some of Temple Bar Yoga's finest yoga gurus here. We have Hilary, we have Maria, we have Paul, we have Jeanette. Thank you guys all so much for joining, where we're going to talk about what the festive season means to us. And can I maybe throw it over to Jeanette first? How are you going to celebrate Christmas?
We're actually spending it in Dublin this year, and normally we don't. So this is quite a change for us. Normally we're either in Toronto or down in Cork. So yeah, it'll be really nice spending it here and just bringing some of the different traditions that we do back in Toronto here in Dublin. So
that sounds really lovely.
Yeah.
What kind of traditions, what Toronto traditions are you going to?
So our Toronto traditions, yeah, my mother is Polish. So we would do a lot of our celebrating on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas Day. And I think perhaps, you know, here as well, a lot of people will have fish. But one thing that's often on the table, which I can't say I've tried, is pickled herring.
Oh.
Yes. It kind of sits there in my eye's view, but it doesn't enter onto my plate. So yeah, and then there's another thing that we have is it's called a płatek. I'm probably not saying it properly, but we all share a piece. It's nearly like communion, but everyone shares a bit of each other's, and so it's a very lovely exchange.
Yeah. That sounds really nice. I was actually talking to someone, I was teaching a class earlier today, and someone from Czech was saying, I was saying, what are you doing for Christmas dinner? And she said, oh, a Czech habit is you get a carp, the fish, and you keep it in the bath for a while, and you play with it in the bath, and then you kill it with a hammer, and then that's your Christmas dinner. So so was someone Polish there in the class, and she said, yeah, we do the same. So I thought that might have been your Christmas tradition you were going to import.
No, it's just the pickled herring.
Okay, that'll be lovely. Maria, what are you doing over the West?
Yeah, so myself and Mike will split up on Christmas Day for the day.
Gotcha.
So he'll go to his family, and I'm actually going to go to my mum and dad's. Because well, I mean, it's a little bit easier like that. We both kind of get to spend time with our families. So I'll have a very quiet Christmas Day, and obviously my mom and dad and my uncle will be there as well. They have a very traditional Christmas dinner, and I usually will just have some vegetables or just have some fish, but I do kind of all the rest of the chilling out, and then I'll go and visit my sister's kids because they live close to my mum and dad, and I'll see what Santa Claus brought. So that will be all the excitement for me on Christmas Day.
That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Hilary, what are you doing?
This year I'm going to be in Dublin, but my other half won't be here. He's miles away in South America. So I am having my mother over, and I am doing all of the cooking, etc. myself. So it's going to be the smallest, most intimate Christmas ever, but it's kind of what I want.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go for a swim with some friends in the 40-foot.
Cool.
Christmas Day, and then just really hope that Paddington 2 is on very early. Just my Christmas tradition, and just keep it really simple. And then I'm teaching actually on Stephen's Day.
Yes, you are.
So so I think it's going to be a pretty relaxed Christmas this year. And then there's a lot of visiting of extended family and cousins home from Australia and that kind of thing, either side of the day. Yeah.
Gotcha. That sounds really nice. Paul, tell us, what are you doing for Christmas?
So it's the normal pandemonium's going to kick off probably on Christmas Eve, where I'm up till about 4 a.m. Getting presents finished off because we can't just present them. They have to come in a big extravaganza. So I've outdone myself.
Explain.
So normally I celebrate Christmas morning with my parents, and then the rest of the family will come over for dinner later in the day. But my parents never know what they're walking into in the sitting room. So one year they walked in and I was in a gingerbread Wendy house dressed as an elf. And this year I have decided I'm going to bring Elf in a Shelf back, and I'm going to destroy the sitting room with footprints made of talc all over the place with a train set in the middle. But they don't know that. So I'm going to be busy getting all that ready.
Yeah,
and
you are.
then this Christmas, like Hillary, tide's in early, so I'm going to get down at 7:30, go for a swim, and then pop back. And then the rest of the family will come over, cousins and aunts. And then more cousins and aunts with new additions to the family are going to come over and destroy the house, worse than I did in the morning. And, you know, we'll fight over the purple quality street and Raiders of the Lost Ark on TV. And then we'll all fall asleep in a food coma. And then I get to do it all over again the next day down on my dad's side, down the country.
Fantastic.
So officially, by the time it comes to Thursday, I'll be ready to get the stuffing and sprouts out of me ASAP with a bit of yoga.
You're teaching, is it Thursday? When are you? You're doing a few sessions.
Thursday. I'm in Christmas Eve for a nice calm 12 asanas at Christmas, early in the morning. And then I'm the big fat forky blowout on the 28th. So we're going to have a lot of twisting just to rinse out all that stuff that we've had.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a nice gentle goodbye to 2023 with restorative yoga on New Year's Eve morning.
Okay, that sounds great. Sounds great. And tell me, food-wise.
Pudding all the way. Pudding for breakfast. Pudding for tea.
I knew Paul was going to say pudding. I'm aware of his Christmas pudding obsession at Easter and in the middle of summer and all other times.
What, is it always Christmas pudding, Paul, or is it? Really?
For my birthday I get a Christmas pudding, and if it's a special decade celebration, I'll get as many Christmas pudding as there is to decades of my age. So yeah.
Wow.
Instead of an Easter egg, pudding. Last meal if I'm ever on death row, pudding. On my bucket list, more pudding.
That's funny. I wouldn't be such a big fan of Christmas pudding. The one thing we have to have is bread sauce. That's essential. Bread, have to have bread sauce and brandy butter.
Brandy butter. Yes.
I'm a very bad Christmas food person, so I don't like Christmas cake. I don't like Christmas pudding. I don't do the Christmas dinner. I hate bread sauce. Sorry, Hillary. And I also do not like brandy butter or custard for that matter, or trifle.
Oh my God, all my favorite things.
Wow, I'm with Hillary. Now, Hillary, the bread sauce, I'm actually planning this year on making bread sauce, which would be a first for me. Do you have a really good recipe for it?
I do. I don't have it right in front of me.
Oh,
but
yeah. No, you don't need to give it to us now.
Yeah, it's simple. It's simple.
It?
Just don't let you have to stand over it.
Yeah, that's the secret.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it needs a bit of patience, but it is. I think it's delicious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually this morning I'm having a chestnut and cashew roast on Christmas Day, and I made it today. Lashed it in the freezer, and that'll go in on Christmas morning.
Lovely. But listen, I'm having a dilemma because I'm quite anti-sprout. Will I just leave?
No, Hillary, you roast the sprouts. Roast them.
Roast them with what though? Just with
salt and pepper, splash of oil into the oven, hot, and then they char. If you put them in half, they char, and they're so gorgeous.
So don't parboil them beforehand?
No, straight in.
Okay, I'll try that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try that.
I think that parboiling can leave them a little bit like old cabbage.
Yeah, that's it.
I've roasted.
And now try that, roasted sprouts. Okay.
I, like Paul, have a little bit of a sweet tooth, and so I would usually douse them with a bit of, not douse, but I'd definitely be generous with a bit of maple syrup as well.
I was going to say, we put the maple syrup on them.
Oh, well, that's the Canadian in you, isn't it?
We watched Elf the other day, and the maple syrup was featured large, and I was thinking maple syrup on the Brussels sprouts.
You could relate. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never tried maple syrup on Brussels sprouts. Now I don't know if I'll go that far.
You
But
know the way they have a
Oh,
bit of a sort of a, there's a bit of an umami with, there's a bit of bitterness with
Yeah.
sprouts. I
I
feel it
love
kind of,
it.
yeah, it balances it really nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having had just a few traumatic experiences with sprouts, I have to rekindle my love of sprouts this year. Okay, I'll give it a go.
Give it a go. Look, you can always chuck them in the bin if they're terrible. You know, no one's standing behind you forcing you to eat them. Yeah, I do like the sprouts, and I was moaning and groaning that I had to make gravy this year because the rest of the house, for the most part, we've in-laws and extended family coming for dinner this year. We're doing dinner, and so we will be cooking turkey and what do you call it, ham and all of that.
Yeah.
And obviously I won't be obviously, because I've just told you that I'm having I'm not saying obviously as a yogi I'm not, just because I'm having the nut roast, but I was thinking I want to make gravy because it's so nice with gravy, but I don't want the meaty gravy. And this morning, didn't I find last year's gravy in the freezer?
oh, dear.
So, and it's going to be fine because there's nothing bad in it. So that's me sorted with that. But I do want the bread sauce as well.
Yeah.
And can you tell me, have you any yoga plans over the Christmas season? Anything you like to do or not do? Do you take off?
Yeah, it's kind of was actually talking to somebody about this recently. Like I'm definitely in maintenance mode, even kind of like this week. So it's really just kind of movement, just kind of happy movement. And sometimes, kind of like Paul talked about it already, like sometimes it might be a little bit more vigorous. But it's short practices, just moving.
Mm,
Just kind of if I've got a little bit of time in the morning, just like 5 minutes just to kind of chill, and
yeah,
then a little bit of soft movement. This I kind of like trying to get out as much as possible. I think that that's kind of nearly more helpful. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you're inside and you might need to just kind of get outside. We have a lot of kind of lazing about, so it's nice to get out and walk. And yeah, but those kind of like gentle entries to the day are really nice. So actually, on New Year's Day, I'm having a little gentle entry into 2024 for anyone that wants to join at
I
9
saw.
a.m. So a little bit of moving,
Mm.
a little bit of breath work, a little bit of mindfulness, very kind of calm, grounding. So
Lovely, lovely.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
very
that's
maintenance flow.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, well, time is, I think we all, well, from my own experience, I kind of drop down quite a bit. I do a lot less. I sit around a bit more, but that takes a lot of time in itself. So I always find I need to just sink into that a little. I'll keep, I'll just like, there's a couple of things I feel physically I need to maintain. Like I need a couple of dogs, or my hamstrings will start
Mm.
to shorten. A little Suptavirasana, because Paul, I love it. It's got to have a
I
little
hate it.
daily. I know, Paul, but I'm working on you. And a bit of upside down, just because it's really
Yeah.
nice. And then, as you said, Maria, outside, having the dog is great. Sammy will get me out every day, and just a little bit of movement to shift the pudding, because it'll be, for me, it'll be the pudding, it'll be the Christmas cake, it'll be the stollen as well, and all of the, well, now the gravy, because we've discovered it in the back of the freezer. So yeah, there'll be a lot. Jeanette, what will you be doing?
Yeah, lots of walks as well with
Mm.
the family, and the girls though are big into their headstands at the moment. So we're spending a lot of time upside down these days as well, and I don't think that next week is going to be any exception with time off school. So between tripod headstands and a few other things, there's a lot going on.
Your yoga room is going to see a lot of action.
Yes. So who knows what's going to happen on the 2nd of January when I'm teaching. So we're going to go with the flow again, flow into the
Yeah.
new year. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
maybe-
you'll have to see who shows up, perhaps, and see
absolutely
much
see what
flow
the
they've got
feel
in
is.
them.
See what the feel is. See what we feel on the day.
Yeah, lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. I'm actually doing a Christmas Day session, which I started at the start of the lockdown. Well, the first year of the lockdown, and I really enjoyed it. 10 o'clock,
Yeah, it's good fun. It's
yeah,
really
it's
good.
good fun.
It's perfect half an hour as well. It's lovely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Generally, I wouldn't do half an hour, but on a day like that, it's just so nice.
Perfect.
And then by 10:30, it's all done. You can start into the whatever it's going to be, pudding for Paul. Paul, what are you going to do? Any particular?
I'm afraid to
practice?
say, to be honest, because
Go on, Paul. Tell us.
I don't stop doing yoga over Christmas. If anything, I'm quite selfish. I take that hour out of Christmas morning at some stage. I might have gone out for a walk, I might have gone for a swim, or I used to do a run. But I'll just do that hour, doors closed, don't come near. And then after that, I will give my time over to whatever needs to be done. But yeah, I will still need that bit of movement and bit of grounding to get me through each day, especially when there's food involved, but also if you're cooped up or if it's just a little bit, high maintenance. I just take that hour. But I do that all the time. When I used to work in festivals, I would take the 20 minutes, but try and push for an hour. So you can, it's, Carrie said it to us before the other year, that the most selfless person is the most selfish. And I kind of agree. I need that hour. And then I will do anything you ask without a qualm.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, I was thinking on Christmas morning, though, Paul, that hour might actually be spent vacuuming up all of the talc that's going to be over the sitting room floor.
I never, I leave in fairness, the talc I think is actually going to be less destructive than the 8 giant crackers I made one year filled to the top with glitter, and when they exploded, it covered the house from top to bottom.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and then I walked away from it without cleaning. We'll worry about that when it happens.
Fair enough. Hilary, any practice you're going to enjoy or not enjoy over the...
Yeah, well, for my own practice at the moment, a bit like Maria, it's maintenance. But like another story altogether, I took up yoga really for a particular reason, like because I had an injury. So I kind of have to do certain things, which is engage my core and just kind of deep system work. I'm really meant to do it every day. So at the moment, it's almost like more meditative pranayama, or I will do Supta Baddha Konasana, Supta Sukhasana, those type of things myself, and inversions. I just find them really good at this time of year, doing Sirsasana and handstands and pincha. So that's really what I do on my own. And when I am teaching, I'm going to be teaching on this Saturday, my usual class at 10 o'clock. And I found recently, I think we're just doing more kind of restorative, maybe a good 20 minutes at the end of the class where it's less energetic and a lot of balancing. And then on the actual Stephen's Day, I'm doing a 12 o'clock class. And again, I'll do something quite slightly different to what I might normally do, where I think I'll incorporate more restorative kind of poses for at least half of the class and have more of a not quite a recovery, but I think people are just wrecked at this time of year and they don't want to come and lie down in a yoga class. But I think a balance, maybe a half hour doing more movement based and then a half hour doing more kind of meditative based is what I'm planning. But it could all change, of course, on the day, depending who turns up and what the vibe is like. But I do find myself, I'm drawn a lot to inversions and to teaching inversions, because I just think, I don't know, for me, there's something, I find them very calming.
I agree. Yeah, they're really quietening, aren't they?
And because of what I do outside of yoga, like I like Paul, I need to just have some time every day where, just for sanity, where I say, no, I am taking, even if it's 10 minutes, like what Maria's saying, even if it's 5 minutes, just something, but to keep it consistent, as opposed to if I can't manage the hour every day. And that's what I'm trying to do. And to keep that consistency of practice.
Yeah. That sounds really healthy, and that sounds like the time of year in a nutshell. Guys, I'm going to say thank you all so much for giving your time and giving us the chats and giving us some insight into what Temple Bar yogis are going to be doing at Christmas. Thank you so much. It just all I need to say now, I think, is have a great Christmas.
Have a great Christmas, everyone.
Happy Christmas.
hope it's a great year for everyone next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I concur. Yogis, thanks for tuning in to Yoga Chats. And remember to subscribe to Yoga Chats on your favourite podcast platform. And why don't you share it? Why don't you comment on it? Why don't you give us a super review? And please do come back for more chats soon. I'm Greg Walsh, and I'll see you on the mat.